Welcome back, everybody. This is Sam SolBright with another video here in the Love and Science channel. And this is going to be another quantum energy report for the week of July, the second week of July. Not gonna get too technical on the dates, but one of the things for this week. Technically, it's not just this week. Technically, this is going to entail, these are going to be part of like the month frequencies and the rest of the linear year frequencies. But when I was tuning into the energies of the second week, this is what came through. But again, I want to remind you that this isn't just the frequency of the second week of July. This is the frequency of the rest of the linear month and the rest of the linear year. So just keep that in mind. This is going to be an ongoing theme. And I'm pretty sure that you're feeling it. We're all feeling the rapid acceleration of the frequencies right now. And that is exactly the theme. We are in an acceleration point where things will continue to, it's gonna be simultaneous. Things are gonna speed up, and at the same time, things are gonna slow down. What's important to open up to is that the acceleration point happens as you dissolve more and more and more of the 3D structures within yourself, within your body. The 3D structures inside of your body are what are causing the reality collapses. So with the acceleration points comes a reality collapse, and the reality collapses are happening more and more and more. They're happening faster. They're happening in every level. So it's a personal collapse. It's going to be a collective, it's going to be societal, it's going to be all of these different systems are going to continuously collapse. When you continue to dissolve those systems from within you, the reality collapse is a lot smoother and a lot different than when you are caught in the middle of a 3D structure collapse. So the more you dissolve the 3D collapses inside of your body, the less the reality collapse becomes physical. So not that it's not physical, because at some level it is, but it's not as harsh and it's not as traumatic and it's not as physically draining and physically, I'm gonna just leave it at harsh and traumatic. It becomes a much smoother transition the more you continuously dissolve all of these 3D structures from within yourself. So again, the more you dissolve the 3D structures from within yourself by continuing to feel, by continuing to open up, by continuing to honor your light body, you are weakening the foundation in which those 3D structures are built on. So this creates the acceleration. The collapses are happening faster and faster and faster. The collapses are happening at a bigger scale as well. And this will only continue. This will only continue to occur in different levels of your reality, in different parts of the world, in different systems, whatever the case may be. As you continue to open up, you are going to, you essentially you're anchoring more light inside of your body. And so you actually start to function outside of time. And this is when I say things are speeding up, but at the same time, they're slowing down. Because as you dissolve the old 3D structures within your body, you're no longer bound by time. Time is no longer the same. You will no longer be able to tell the difference. You won't be able to tell how long something has transpired, because you no longer hold the physical, the frequency of the separation of time within your physical body. And so you actually start to stretch time in the most the most fascinating ways. Your days become this like super long days. And you're able to do a lot, which is actually really, really nice. But it's still, the dissolution of time is still pretty mind-blowing to the mind, to the linear aspect of ourselves, because of how long we've been operating, within time. And so the more you open up to no longer needing to tell time, no longer needing to remember linear dates, no longer needing to fixate to a time frame, the more you're going to open up to the dissolution of time in every part of your reality. Time no longer becomes the same. Time is energy, and you flow with linear time in a way that supports you. It's not stressful anymore. It doesn't drain you. You're not bound by linear time frames or deadlines or whatever the case may be, which was how we lived in the past and in our 3D realities. And so as you continue to dissolve those structures, there is an acceleration and a deceleration as well. You start to become more present. You start to become more in the flow. You go with the flow of things. You are more conscious. You're more aware. You actually enjoy life a lot more, because you are no longer pressured by time. You're no longer pressured in needing to do something at a certain time, or needing to get something done at a certain time. Everything becomes very fluid. Everything becomes very malleable, and it stretches, and it's a completely different experience. And again, this is part of the acceleration. The collapses that are happening are going to continue to be pretty big. And we're going to continue to see them in every level of our reality, in every dimension, in every aspect. So the other part with the acceleration point that we're moving into is that this is part of the convergence, the time convergence, reality convergence. When you no longer hold the 3D structures within your physical body, you no longer hold the separation of time, which means time collapses, and you get to experience more consciously, more dimensional realities, and more existences. So the separation of time, when we say past, future, when we talk about past lives, that is still a separation of time. It's a 3D structure. As your internal 3D structures dissolve, there is no longer a separation of time. There is no past, there is no future, there is technically no past lives. They are all simultaneously running right here, right now. It doesn't matter if you know it, understand it, believe it. It's just how energy works. The more you open up to it, the more you're going to be able to see beyond what is physically occurring right now. So one of the things that's going to continuously happen in the third dimensional world, physical world, is that we're going to continuously see a lot of things happening, which are going to equate to the collapse of all of the different civilizations that have transpired. So we're simultaneously going to see, and we're simultaneously clearing Egyptian timelines, Atlantean timelines, Lemurian timelines, Mayan timelines. All of those different timelines are going to converge in one space, which means it's almost like simultaneously going through, 5 different civilizations, or however many are named in this now. If you open up to feeling that, you're going to recognize that there's going to be a lot of stuff happening. There's going to be a lot of collapses because we are simultaneously clearing and collapsing all of the 3D structures that are tied to Egyptian, Atlantean, Lemurian, Mayan, Roman, all of these different timelines. What's important to open up to is that the more you clear those timelines, the more you clear those frequencies, those existences from within your body, you don't have to physically experience a reality collapse in a way that hurts or harms you. And I'm throwing words here, but it's almost like when I talk about physical collapse, reality collapse, I always bring in, like, think of like a burning house that's about to collapse, or think about literally like a house that's like so old that's breaking down and falling down. You don't want to be inside of the house when it collapses, because you may not survive, especially if it's burning. As you continuously go through and clear deeper and deeper levels of these physical structures within your own body, you are going to be guided as to when you need to leave this burning house before it actually burns or before it actually collapses. That's what I mean by as you continue to clear deeper and deeper levels within your own physical body, you will not be inside of this burning home. You will get guided to leave before it collapses. The best example that I could share with you is in my own personal experience. When I've been in this for a while, but it doesn't even matter how long. There was a moment where I was getting deeper and deeper connected within myself, deeper and deeper connected within my soul, or with my soul. And there was a very clear moment where I was guided to quit my job, leave my job. I couldn't even finish the whole month. I was guided to leave right before the end of the year. This was 3 years ago. And I didn't have everything planned out. I didn't have savings. I actually didn't have no savings whatsoever when I quit. But I knew that I had to trust, and I knew that I had to follow this. I just knew that 2020 was going to be really big. I knew that I had to leave before then. And sure enough, I was guided to leave before the end of 2019. And so your guidance, the more you connect inside, the more you're going to know when to leave a situation, when to leave a reality that is about to collapse. I had no clue. Like, I didn't know the ins and outs of how all of this would play out. I just knew that I had to follow. I knew that 2020 was going to be big. And so sure enough, I quit right before 2020. 6 months later, 80%, 90% of, which is the majority of the people that the majority of the staff within the organization that I worked with got laid off. And so when I realized this, I was in shock. I wasn't really, we felt it coming, but we didn't really know that it actually would happen. And so when it happened, it was just kind of like, whoa, I left right on time. I left before the ship sank. I left before the house burned down, completely collapsed. I followed my guidance. I didn't know exactly, what was going to happen. I didn't know, obviously, that was going to happen when it did, but I just knew that I had to follow it. And so that's the most important thing right now, that you continuously tune in and connect and go deeper and deeper and deeper within yourself, because you are going to get guided. You are going to get the messages and get the signs and signals of when to leave certain realities. There's a lot of people right now that are being called to make tons of changes in their reality. There is a reason for that. And mainly it's because the reality is about to collapse. The reality is no longer sustainable. The reality is built on 3D structures of fear and lack. The reality is no longer soul-aligned. The reality is way too heavy now. And that was exactly what happened to me. Everything that I just mentioned, I felt it. I knew it. I knew that it wasn't sustainable. I knew that I had to leave. I knew that I wasn't soul-aligned anymore. And my guidance was very clear. You got to leave right now. The more you open up and really listen to these messages, the more you're going to realize and follow the messages, not just listen, but actually follow through the messages. You're going to realize, for me, it was 6 months later. I didn't know it right there and then, but you're going to start to realize that your universe, your higher self is literally saving you from a harsh reality collapse. And it is prepping you. So I knew at some level that me leaving my job when I did, I was going to start a preparation period. I needed to be prepared for what was to come. I needed to be prepared for 2020. I needed to be prepared for 2021, 2022 and beyond. Because it does take linear years, guys. This literally takes linear years. This is not an overnight process. This is not just a 1 month. Even with the acceleration, there is so much within your body. There is so many emotions. There's so many different aspects to work through. This is not an overnight thing. And so when I left, it allowed me to go deeper than anything deeper than I've ever gone before, deeper than I've ever felt before, for the next 2 solid years. And I mean, I'm still going through this, but this year marked like a huge benchmark for me and a huge like ascension point that I reached. And I probably wouldn't, it would have taken me longer if I wouldn't have listened. If I wouldn't have listened, if I would have, you know, followed my fear instead of my higher self, if I would have continued to think and be logical and like wait until it's safe, wait until I had the money, wait until I had my business running, wait until all of these things, or at least be able to have my business to where I'm making the same amount of money, I would not have been able to accelerate the way that I did. And so continuously open up to this, because you are going to get the messages. A lot of people, we're getting so many different, we're getting pushed, we're getting redirected, we're getting, literally we're being saved from physical reality collapses in a way that we may not fully understand, but we don't need to. All you have to do is trust. All you have to do is just continue to listen deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper within yourself, and know that you can trust that guidance. You can trust your higher self. You can trust your higher heart. You can trust your gut now. And this is part of this whole journey, because we haven't been, we learn not to trust in ourselves. So we learn not to trust that little voice, that pure voice that comes through. We've been listening to the ego for far too long. We've been listening and we've been controlled by fear and lack and the logical linear mind. And so the more you open up to this, and the more you allow yourself to just go with the flow and trust and end the job, the relationship, the career, move to the locations or out of the location when you're being guided, you're going to have a much smoother transition. So continue to open up, continue to listen, continue to honor your light body. When your light body shuts you down and knocks you down, it is literally supporting you in the clearing of the physical structures within yourself, so that you can move out of that reality. This is huge. So continue to listen to your body, continue to honor it, even if it doesn't make sense, even if you have to, even if you feel like you cannot do anything but sleep or rest, continue to honor that, because that is a huge part of the process, It won't make any linear sense, and you will be challenged. Your ego is going to be challenged by it. But it's okay. Feel the fear, fear the lack, feel everything, so that you can allow your body to stabilize the energies. You can allow your body to clear deeper, and you can open up to the beautiful, magical, unreal realities, new earth realities that are already here for you. So open up, it's safe. Feel deeper, it's safe too, and you're ready. Continue to follow your higher self guidance. And just be prepared for the acceleration points, the reality collapses that will continue. Continue to go with the flow in every way, in every moment. Open up more, become more conscious, become more present. And as you do, you're going to see just magic unfold before your eyes. So keep trusting, keep going. If there's anything that you feel called to share or ask, or if you'd like more one-on-one support or group support, you're more than welcome to reach out. I have my links and information and details below this video. So with that, sending you much love, much appreciation, much respect. Thank you for all that you guys do. And until the next time, take care.